All right, here we go. Head coach. How does that sound?
Sounds like really just a dream come true. I've always envisioned in being, head coach, and I was always keen into coaching to one day hopefully run a program. So to be able to, be a head coach at my first stop at Hofstra, being at my, school that I wrestled here is really a dream come true for me. So
That's where I sit, just a fan. I'm thinking, this is a no-brainer. This is a guy that's been in the room for years, obviously knows his former boss is now an assistant AD at the school. So this is going to be a slam dunk. This is a no-brainer. It makes so much sense for the program.
yeah, for me, just the comfortability of knowing everybody at the university was something that was really cool, and it's been a really good adjustment coming on. I think I had a pretty easy transition coming to a program where most head coaches are trying to figure out their team, administration, how their school works, how to recruit to school. Having experience of knowing exactly who to go to with every issue or problem, like, hey, I need to get this done. I knew exactly where to go, which was really helpful. And I think having a long relationship with a lot of the administrators, academic support, our support team, they really, bent over for me to make sure that I were able to do things really early on to get, some last minute recruits, coaches, and everything like that to get going and get me moving as fast as I could.
One of the downsides might be that you didn't have experience anywhere else. However, you did. You went to an Ivy League school, you went to Columbia for a year. Obviously, the worlds are different. I'm not saying academically, nothing like that. I'm just saying one's in the city, you've got an Ivy, you've got Hofstra out here on Long Island. So you do have experience coming from a different perspective, right?
Yeah, so it was only about 10 months, but it was a full season where, I got to experience a whole nother culture, a whole nother team, and you'd be able to coach under a mentor of mine, Zach Tonelli, who coached me here at Hofstra. So, when I had the opportunity to go and get some other experience, it was real important to me. And, the biggest thing was not only was I learning from him and from Columbia, but he had other coaches too that also wrestled at Minnesota and Ryder. So they had experience and they've coached at other programs. So we had a lot of experience coming into that room from all different schools, right? So I was able to pick in, everyone's brain a little bit on some ideas, things that I love, things that I was like, oh, I don't know if I ever would have thought about that, but now that's in the back of my mind to implement that into my program. If it's either what to do with the kids in wrestling, or hey, how do we do a better job at lifting, or how do we do a better job with academics or networking or everything. So being able to take a little piece of everything from everyone was really nice, and just being able to learn from 40 different guys, which was nice too. I think which was one of my biggest perks was I had a whole new team of 40 guys from all different walks of life, which I think was really important. We get a good job here at Hofstra as well, getting guys from all around the country, but when you're in the Ivy League, you got kids from the West Coast all the way down to Florida, all the way to Midwest. You have kids from every single state trying to get to New York City and get to Columbia, which was probably a really big lesson for me to learn from all those kids and how they were brought up.
All right, so all of that being said, these guys, they're still your guys. You were recruiting some of these guys too from back in the day. Are still here, obviously under different head coach, but you're gonna want to probably change things. You want to put your own stamp on this program. What are some of the things that we might see from Hofstra Wrestling that might be a little bit different than before? What kind of mark do you want to make?
Yeah, just had two freshmen that were coming in this year that I didn't recruit. So it was nice that we had a really big recruiting class the year before. So very familiar, like I said, I didn't have to really learn too much when I got here. So my mark now is, again, how I could put what I really want, what I find important, of like that hard work and a little bit of that mad savviness. I think I pride myself a lot of just when I was wrestling, mindset of how to manage a match, when to push, when to give up a point here and there so that I could get to the next position, to pass that on to the guys. But, really just how do we wrestle hard and just focus on our effort and have fun doing it, is the biggest thing that I'm putting into these guys. Is we're training hard. Sometimes maybe it's longer than we did in the past, but just a different little spin on it, and that's what I'm expecting these guys to really take on and enjoy, hopefully, and get them to really dive in 100% to, my belief and my vision for this program for the future.
One of the things that I couldn't deny feeling was just it was like a level of excitement, a level of energy in this room from wall to wall for the whole time that these guys were in here today. Where's that coming from?
Yeah, I think, I kind of, from day one when I first got here, was like, I just told them, hey, when it's practice time, be ready for practice time. and be ready to give 100% effort for the whole practice. And we're going to enjoy some times outside. So threw him a couple curveballs early, brought him to the beach for a beach workout, which was a nice change up. Did some team barbecues, a couple days where we're like, no practice, you're going for recovery today. So I think they understand, like, hey, we could train really hard for a short period of time, get a lot out of it, right? And then enjoy everything else after that. And that's kind of what I've been putting on them is, when we're in here, let's use our time wisely and let's work hard, and then we'll enjoy some team bonding stuff on the outside.
A lot of people don't know this, but Long Island is 10 minutes away from the beach, right? It's not that far down the road, right? It's a beautiful beach. It's actually, I was there this morning myself, white sand on that beach.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that, right? So what kind of things do you guys like to do for fun, for leisure?
Yeah, so I think a lot of our guys, being able to so close to the beach, a lot of our guys, we do some beach workouts, runs and stuff like that, but it's a nice spot for the guys to get away, right? So they were here all summer, they lifted and worked out in the morning, and then a lot of the guys, if they weren't working, a lot of our guys work in the summertime too, but if they were, internship wasn't, taking up all their time, they were at the beach either, some guys would try to surf, some guys are just swimming, some guys are just laying out at the beach. Guys like spike ball and some other games, they'll bring it down to the beach and hang out, so to be able to get to the beach so quick, like I said, for us to be able to work out there, it's not an all-day event. It's a quick, hey, instead of driving to campus today, let's go 10 minutes the other direction, and we'll get a beach workout and we'll get back for class without missing anything. So it's a good perk to have the beach so close and then be able to jump in, and if you want to get to the city, be able to get to the city really easy as well.
One of the things that you've recently made a splash with is your assistant coaching job. Jesse Delvecchia just added to the roster here, but you've got great assistants here. How important is it to you to make sure you have a solid staff beneath you?
Yeah, I think that was like the biggest thing was getting the guys that I believe in, right, and that also have a similar coaching strategy and a vision as I do, right? So, obviously Jesse just got hired the other day, but as a kid that I was really interested ever since watching him wrestle in college, right? He's a Long Island kid. He was in high school, when I was here, and started coaching as well. So when he, I got to watch his make the national finals in 2021, and then he coached at West Point. And when he was leaving West Point, I said, let's try to go get him. And we tried everything we could to try to get him as an assistant and get him on staff then. But we only had a volunteer position opened up, and he really wanted to be a full-time coach. So he went other ways at the beginning, but I knew once I did get the job, that was something that was like, I got another crack at it. So, I'm glad everything worked out and I was able to get him over. And, to have Charles on staff as well, who's a wrestler, that I, coached for his whole time here at Hofstra. And then, Cody as well. Cody's a great addition to the staff. They brought him on last year on my departure. So, he's a guy that, just lives and breathes wrestling, and the kids love him, and he's always about, how do we get better? How are we in the room doing individuals and then watching wrestling, which is really good. So I'm really excited with the staff that we have right now, and then, looking to get to the season so we can start, showing guys what we've been doing for the last couple of months here.
Talk about showing guys. Let's talk about Hofstra University as a university, but also a place where a recruit can land. Meaning, what's an opportunity for a kid from Central Ohio that maybe doesn't even know about this place? What kind of education are they going to get? What kind of mentoring are they going to get from you? And why should they come to Hofstra as opposed to being a third string guy at, Ohio State?
Yeah, so our education just keeps growing every single year. We have a huge network of alumni that, guys that are, teachers to law guys, to guys that are in finance in the city. We have kids as young as 2 years out that are in the city in finance, and we have guys that are, almost ready to retire, that are in finance. So we have a wide range of alumni that are willing to support, which is really good. And that's kind of my big vision for my guys as well, is how do I connect our wrestlers to those alumni so they could not only get them jobs, but pick their brains. Like, hey, maybe I don't need a job for you, but how did you go that route? You went to Hofstra, you wrestled here. How did you get into that field, and why that field, and what's some of the ways I should do it, right? So we're definitely working on connecting the guys there. And then, like I said, as Hofstra keeps growing as well, we just keep getting more programs. Like I said, we have a really big law program. We have a big business school. Communications is really big, and then obviously teaching as well. So some of the perks that we have is, we have a 5 years master program for phys ed, which a lot of guys have done in the past, where they're going to get a dual degree for phys ed and health, so they could finish their masters in 5 years. So a lot of guys are redshirting. They got their 5 years in and out, and then basically they got their teaching degree to go teach. Same with our business. We have a lot of guys that are in an accelerated 5-year master's program as well, getting their MBA and being able to go right after their 5th year, be able to go in and go in the workforce right away. And just a new program they just picked up too is a LEAP program for the law program, which is a 6-year program for law, which is a 3 and 3, so 3 years undergrad and 3-year law degree. So you finish your law degree in 6 instead of 7, which is most places. So those programs really entice a lot of our recruits of like, hey, I can go to Hofstra and do my undergrad and at the same time start advancing quicker into my master's program, so I finish a year or two ahead of if I was at another school. And having all those options, I think the biggest thing is that our kids don't have to leave, right, for the master program. A lot of schools don't have these great master programs that we have, so that they end up having to go somewhere else and transfer out their last year or two. But here our kids can finish their careers here and get in school and kind of just be familiar where they're going to go to school for their masters and graduate, which is really nice. So
We're about a month out from start of season, official start of season, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, in a room like this, there's no off season. I get that. What's next for the program?
Yeah, next for the program, these guys are just starting to ramp up a little bit, but wrestle-offs is going to be next. We got wrestle-offs, I was just telling the guys, on October 24th. So I keep telling them it's creeping faster and faster, right? So stop telling yourself, next week I'm going to get my weight down, next week I'm going to get my weight down. We'll be making weight, scratch weight in just over a month. And then we open up with a great part of the season, which I always love. We go to the Princeton Open, first weekend, Journeyman Collegiate Classic, second weekend. And then we got my big debut will be our alumni day, will be November 16th, which we'll have a quad meet here at Hofstra at home in the arena, which is a special day for us because it's going to be my first dual meet as a head coach, and I think it's the first time a lot of guys will come back, a lot of old teammates and stuff that will come back and get together for the first real start of our season here. And then we'll head out to Ohio State, and so that will round up our November, which will be nice. So it's always good. We haven't been to Ohio State in a while. I think since when I was here, I think my senior year we were out there. Either my junior or senior year was last time we were at Ohio State. So it's gonna be nice to get back there.
New facility.
Yep,
Yeah.
see the new facility and get the guys to compete.
Tell the people in Columbus what they're going to see from Hofstra when you step on the mat there.
Yeah, we're going to see guys that are going to look to score points, right? And that's the biggest thing, is that our guys are going to look to scrap and score points and not hold on to leads and wrestle as tough as we can. And our goal is, as our competition picks up, that we keep just trying to buck one ranking off at a time.
Yep.
So
I love that you're not afraid to wrestle Penn States and Ohio States and all that. Whatever they do at the national tournament, the big boys, if you will. I always say that wrestling is the top 32, 33 kids, and that start of that tournament on Thursday, NCAA's, anything can happen. We've seen it happen. So a place like Hofstra is just as good for somebody, that can come out here and get a good education, not have to go to those huge Big Ten schools.
Yeah, I think for me, my schedule was built, halfway built when I got here. We made some adjustments on it, and we'll keep making those adjustments as the years come on. But there's a point where we got to make sure that we're wrestling the teams that we're going to see at the end of the year, right? And that's not the conference tournament. If we want to expect to be at the national tournament, which most of our guys do, then we need to wrestle the Ohio States and the Penn States and the UPenns and Columbia and Virginia Tech. We got to get on NC State, right? We got to get on those guys that are going to be at the tournament. We got to wrestle those guys early in the year, understand what the level is, because I think that's for some of the guys, especially the younger guys, is understand the level of what we got to get to if we're not there already. So wrestle those guys so that, one, we could see what it's like, two, start knocking some of those guys off so we can get in the ranking, right? And just get people prepared for the end of the year. I think a lot of guys put a lot of emphasis on the dual meet record or dual meet season, but the guys that end up being at the national at the end of the year tend to have some of the tougher schedules, and make sure that they have those matches in so that when they get to the conference tournament, they're ready to go and they know what they're expected, so they can punch their ticket to the nationals.
All right, Coach, congratulations on the new job here. It's a new era inside this room. It's your baby now. What else you got for us?
It's like I said, keep looking for updates. Like I said, as we go, we'll be announcing our schedule here soon. All right, and we're excited. We're excited to see what we keep building here, and get Hofstra, in the direction that we all know it can, and just keep winning, year after year of building back to where we're a top 20 team again.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
No problem. Take care.